What's going on, people? Welcome back to an opposition preview, joined by another special guest, as we always do weekly. I'm joined by Billy from the Total Screamers podcast. As always, go make sure to check out Billy's work. They do great Villa content and general football content as well, so make sure to check out that. But as always, another thing, if you do enjoy the content, leave a like, subscribe, and leave down your thoughts ahead of the game in the comment section down below. Billy, how you doing? We're pretty much similar in terms of league table. You guys have been stuck with 11th, and we've been stuck with 12th. But you've had an interesting season so far. You've had Steven Gerrard, who's departed, Unai Emery, a winner who's coming to your club. How would you sum up your season?
It's been very up and down. Up more recently and down towards the beginning of the season. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, to be honest with you. First of all, with Steven Gerrard, I was really hoping that it'd work, but there was just no improvement. And after 9 or 10 games, just the same old stuff. There was no real connection with the fans either for the length of period that he was in the job, and we just weren't improving. So we needed to get rid. And I mean, what a change Unai Emery's made, because I saw a stat the other day, actually. Since he's come in, we're 6th in the league.
Wow.
So it's been really, really good, the kind of response that he's got from virtually the same players. He's brought in the window anyway. He brought in 2 players. One was a left back, kind of switching in and out of the team at the minute with Luca Dean. And the other one was a young striker who has only been coming off the bench so far. So, yeah, it's been a massive upturn in form since Unai Emery came in. And I'm just looking forward to seeing where it can take us now. Hopefully this weekend anyway, we can get into the top half of the table with Chelsea losing or drawing or something. That would be quite funny to overtake them. And
that'd be...
hopefully we can climb on
Chelsea
up as
lose
well.
a draw, then we close the gap to Villa, to Chelsea as well. So it'll be good. No, I'm joking. I think it'll be an exciting game, but we'll talk about the game in just a bit. Just quickly, what has changed then? If it's not players, is it just a case of Emery's masterclass? Is it tactics? Is it the formation? What exactly has Emery changed since coming into the club?
Yeah, so when Emery came in, the squad, the fans, it was just bit of a mess. There was no togetherness at all, really. Emery's instantly come in, and every aspect of the club just seems like a family, to be honest with you. There's such a good connection within the squad, the fans, everyone's like behind where we're kind of going now. And I suppose that's because of on the pitch results as well, of course. And on the pitch, he's under Steven Gerrard. He was a year into his tenure when he got sacked, and he didn't really know the best formation still to play, the best players still to play. It was just a bit all over the place. No one really knew their positions. No one really knew what was going on. And I mean, perfect example was when he stripped Tyrone Mings of the captaincy. Apparently, from things I've heard, he wasn't really fancying McGinn, and then he gives the captaincy to McGinn in the summer as well. So it was all a little bit kind of all over the place, and Emery's it's almost like he's gone, right, let's just get back to basics and let's just play some football. And we're all of a sudden getting results as well. One thing that really interested about Unai Emery or the way that we play under Unai Emery, is we don't really have a structured formation. He doesn't really want to play a specific formation. He's more bothered about us playing in the space. So while we'll still line up in a 4-4-2 typically formation, everyone's kind of a little bit everywhere. You've got the centre midfielders, Kamara and Luiz, who typically tend to stay in the centre, but everyone else, Jacob Ramsey, McGinn, kind of on the wings, playing as number 8s / right and left midfielders. They kind of drift a little bit everywhere, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's it's really hard to kind of pinpoint what exactly he's done on the pitch, but he's just changed a lot, and we're just playing good football again. And he has an idea of how we want to play, and he's playing to the player's strength as well, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't realize your form was that good. I
Yeah, I
realized
know.
that there was a turn in form, and it was much better than from Steven Gerrard's. But I didn't realize top six. Basically, that's what you're saying ever
Yeah,
since Emery's joined. And look, when you have a good manager that knows what he's doing, it's not only going to be one thing that changes. It's going to be tactics, the culture, the
exactly. Yeah.
environment. And I feel like he just knows what he's doing. He's just a more experienced manager. He's a manager that's won. And I think he's going to help you guys in the long run. And this is only the start. You know, you have to bring in
Absolutely.
players that support Emery. And I feel like this summer and going forward, it's going to be massive. It's going to be like a rebuilding process. And you're very lucky. You're very lucky to have a manager
We
like
are.
that.
We are very lucky.
Because yeah, he's won at European competitions. And I feel like he was treated unfairly at Arsenal as well. I'll say
I
that.
completely agree.
There
I
was
completely
different
agree.
situation going on at Arsenal. But in terms of your expectations quickly for this season, what do you expect from here outwards?
My expectation of Villa since the beginning of the season is just to finish in the top half, and
Hmm.
that's just where I want to finish. Under Emery, under Gerrard, it was the same. I just want to see 10th Aston Villa. It's what I've said all season. That's just where I want to finish. If we can push up to 9th, 8th, 7th, maybe,
Yeah.
fantastic, brilliant. You know, we can attract better players. Well, you never know who we can attract with a top half finish as well, you know. But last season, finishing 14th, it was just a bit meh. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
just a bit.
for a club like Villa, we've got ambitious owners. You know, we've got an ambitious squad. We've got a squad full of decent footballers who want to be fighting for European competition. 14th isn't where we should be aiming to get. So for us to finish 10th and possibly a little bit higher, fingers crossed, then happy days.
Yeah. In terms of Palace, what do you think of Palace? We were always on the 12 Man podcast and Dan Potter's channel
Yeah.
talking about football in general. But what have you made of Palace's season so far? And how you feeling ahead of the game? Because you sound fairly confident, which you should do, because based on how good you guys have been doing since Emery's come in.
Yeah, I mean, I quite like Palace, to be honest with you. I do quite like you. I mean, I've been put under strict instruction not to call you a small club. No, but to be fair, you know, you before Patrick Vieira came in, I've got to be totally honest. I thought you was a little bit of like a nothing club. You know, you was always
Yeah.
drifting around relegation kind of thing with Roy Hodgson. Maybe you'd finish 15th or something, but that's kind of where you were. But since Vieira came in and last season, he's really pushed you on. Not maybe to where you would have liked to have been this season. I thought last season you had a fantastic season. You were a really tough team to beat. And maybe this season hasn't gone as planned. However, you are a much better squad, much harder, and it seems like you've got a genuine philosophy about how you want to play. You know, signing young players, for example. You know, you just a much more all round. I can't really think of the word off the top of my head.
Yeah.
You
We're it's like we got something. We got identity.
exactly that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
that's
we're
it.
trying to build. That's the thing. We got something set. Is now
Yeah,
trying to build towards
it's
that. And
then
I just think
building
last
blocks
season
on top of that
we
as
had a
well.
very
Now,
good season. And you made a very good point. I don't think any Palace fans would disagree in the fact that we were lost before Vieira. We had no direction. It was like stay up and do what? It's just stay up. And the
yeah,
players that we're bringing in, they weren't young as well. So it was a
no,
bit confused. And with Vieira, first season was very good. I think this season, there's been a bit of a frustration amongst the fan base due to the results. But when you look at the players that we brought in, was it enough? You know, there's been question
yeah,
marks like that. So this season has been a bit of a hurdle. But then again, I feel like Vieira, you can make the argument he's overachieved this season because of the
yeah.
players that we've got. When you're playing the likes of Mateta, Jeffrey Schlupp, Ayew as 3 out of your
Yeah,
4
I mean,
attackers.
I remember you at Villa.
Yeah, exactly. So like we're playing at 2023. Like, what do you expect? And the fact that
Yeah.
we're still 12th with those
That's
players is
that's the
quite
thing.
incredible.
That's what I was just gonna say. You know, the fact that you've had such a rough season, if you like,
Hmm.
you're not teetering with relegation or anywhere near that. You're not going to go down. Maybe under Roy Hodgson, you know, you'd be down there. Let's be honest.
Hmm.
You wouldn't be 12th under Roy Hodgson. You
Yeah.
know, so the fact that you've not maybe had as good a season as you would like to have had, ideally, and yet you're still well, you're safe, aren't you? You're safe. You're not going to go down. It's that says a lot, really.
Yeah. So let's talk about players. Who should we watch out for Villa? Because Ollie Watkins, we spoke about in our preview. Ollie Watkins is the one player that we all agreed on saying that we need to stop him because he's on form. But
Yeah.
are there any other players that maybe Palace should be like, hold on, wait a minute, what are we going to do about him on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, the main one for me at the minute, I mean, he didn't start at the weekend, but he came on and had an immediate impact, is Buendia.
Mm,
When he's finding those pockets of spaces, you know, he's a real tough one to kind of, I mean, for a Villa perspective anyway, he's just fantastic. So he will find those pockets and he can feed the balls through to Wally Watkins, maybe Leon Bailey if he's starting, feed the balls on through to him as well. And he's a typical Argentinian nasty little shit as well. You know, he's not afraid. He's not gonna like duck out of a fight or anything like that. You know, he's strong. He's got a low center of gravity. I mean, he's only 5'7", but he can hold players off. You know, and he's a top. He really is a top player when he's on it. He's a top player. Again, like a lot of players in the teams of where around where we are, there are of course inconsistencies, and he can
yeah,
be very hot and cold at times. Um, but he's the one I would say. He's the other one, the other attacking player anyway.
yeah.
To certainly keep an eye out. Other than that, I'd probably say Boubacar Kamara in midfield.
He's been very good.
He's a Rolls Royce of a player. I mean, he's had a couple of dodgy games. The one at Leicester at home, in particularly, when we lost 4-2, he wasn't very good. They almost targeted him, and whenever he was on the ball, it was just swarmed with players. And he normally he's very good at kind of spinning, getting out of those situations, laying the ball off. But against Leicester, it was particularly poor. But overall, he's a Rolls Royce of a player, and he's a quality player, and one that we can rely on for a good few years yet, unless someone wants to chuck silly money at us like Chelsea.
Exactly. Well, you're lucky. Your name doesn't start with B and ends with an N. So you're lucky that you ain't that club. Because yeah, if it was, then trust me, they'll be on it. Because I feel like Bowley actually, I feel like he actually wanted to buy Brighton and he managed to mess it up. Because even now, they're talking about what replacement is the Zerbi. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong, I love it because it's just absolutely ruining them. But it's just confusing. Like they got their backroom staff, they got their manager. They're about to get rid of their ex-manager and bring in the current manager. I mean, they could have just got Brighton. It would have been cheaper as well. How much will Brighton cost nowadays? Like £50, £100? Would have saved a few billions in the pocket. But yeah, look, that's enough for Brighton chat. Anyways, that's too much of Brighton talk. And just,
It's not a chat without D without mentioning Brighton somewhere,
yeah,
is it?
it's your fault. I don't know how, but it is your fault. It is your fault. It's not my fault about this. I
Blame
don't know
me
how. I don't
somehow.
know how. Exactly. But look, Kamara's facing Lokonga. It sounds funny when I say that, but I think the midfield battle is going to be interesting. Let's just say
It
that.
will be
I
very
honestly,
interesting. Yeah, I mean,
people
I'm a
laugh
big
at
fan of
Lokonga, but he's
Decore
been
anyway.
one of our most important players in the last few games he started. He's actually helped us out a lot. And him and Decore, I think you'll be, against your midfield, I think it'll be interesting to see who wins that battle. I feel your midfield on paper should be a bit better, but yeah, that'll be a good battle.
Yeah.
In terms of strengths and weaknesses, what do we watch out for? What are you very good at so far this season? What's the weaknesses that we can target in terms of your overall play?
I mean, I think our weaknesses are probably down the wings, to be honest with you. either Matty Cash. If it is Matty Cash, then I think he will be targeted like he was against Everton, particularly in the first half. Anyway, Everton was sending balls over constantly towards McNeil to either get past him, whip a ball into the centre or something. And he really, in the first half particularly, Matty Cash was very poor against Everton, in my opinion. Second half, he turned it on and he was fantastic, really nullified Everton. So I think that's where you could catch us out. But aside from that, if I'm being totally honest with you, I don't really think we have too many weaknesses. I think we've got although we've conceded quite a few goals recently, I think we've got a decent enough defensive structure. Should, fingers crossed, be enough to deal with Palace. No disrespect, but then I say this, but Villa are a team who, if you haven't scored in a long time, Villa are the team you want to play. And I saw a tweet the other day
about Palace as well.
Yeah, I saw a tweet the other day about Mateta. The last team that he scored against was Villa.
Oh yeah, it's been that long. It's been that long.
Yeah, it's been that long. And Villa fans we're resigned to the fact that he's going to score.
I mean, if he does, we might as well call it quits this season.
Yeah,
I think that'll be very special.
He's already scored against us, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, well, he came off the bench in that game, so hopefully in this game he's coming off the bench as well against you lot, because I feel like he needs a break as well. He hasn't really been performing. I mean, we praise him for the bare minimum. That's what's reached. Oh, we had a great first touch.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a professional footballer. Yeah, I'm expecting him to have a good first.
You know what? When you say that, I thought you was going to say he had a great first half. I wasn't expecting that last word to be touched.
Not even that, literally. But hopefully it works out for him. I want it to work out, but yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. But look, let's wrap up with these score predictions. How do you see this one going? Because for me, I've said it on our preview, as I mentioned. I said, what did I say? I said 1-1. That's what I said. I said 1-1. But I'll be honest, this is also a game that we're looking to get our first win in 2023, because if you've seen our run of games, we've had some very difficult fixtures till this point, and we're talking about a team that's only one place above us. I know you guys are in form, and it's not any discredit, but both teams should be looking to win. But for you, are you hopeful of a win?
Yeah, I think the thing with us recently is when Unai Emery came in, he wanted to focus on our away form in particular. Now, away from home, we've done really, really well. That's where most of our points have come from. Since, I can't remember whether it was since the turn of the year or since, well, I suppose it would be since the World Cup, because our first away game was on the 1st. So since the World Cup, I think we've played 5 away games and we've only lost one of them, which was away to Man City. And we've been at Spurs, for example, in that time. That's the only one that's stuck with me. Everton as well. We've been really, really good away from home, but our home form has been bad. It has been really poor. 2 4-2 losses on the trot.
Okay.
It's not
teams.
good.
I don't
know.
Wait,
against decent teams, but we shouldn't be conceding 4 goals to either of them.
At home,
really.
8 goals in 2 games.
Exactly. It's a kick in the teeth, but I'm hoping that Emery's kind of got into them and told them how important this game is as well. Because against Leicester, we had an opportunity to go to the top half for the first time this season. We've now been given a ticket which grants us another opportunity to do that. So we need to take that opportunity, or at least do our bit. If Chelsea go on and win, then so be it. That's just one of them. They stand a chance against Leeds, unfortunately for Leeds. But it grants us a ticket to finally get into that top half. So we really need to take it seriously, as you do every game, of course. And I think we will. I don't want to say I think we will, but we certainly can get the win.
You can't
it slipped out, didn't it? It slipped out. But yeah, I think we certainly can get the win. I'm just
3-0
Is
Villa?
Zaha back?
Well, we don't know, but I expect him to be back. Yes, I think he'll be back.
Fully fit from the start,
I
or
wouldn't
maybe on
say
the
fully
bench?
fit. He hasn't played. He hasn't played for about how many games now? Like this whole month, basically.
Right,
Past month.
okay.
So I
See,
would
that
say
gives me
fully
a bit
fit,
of
but
hope.
with Zaha, when he's out injured, he's normally comes back quicker than expected. And we don't really have them situations where, he's come back from an injury, let him build up pace. Like he just
Right,
fits right
okay.
back in. So I don't really have to worry about that.
Yeah. See, that worries me. So I like Zaha. I think he's a top player. I mean, he moans a bit. Don't get me wrong.
He moans a bit.
But as a footballer, he's a top talent. As we've seen for so many years in the Premier League. So he's where I worry about Palace. What you want a score prediction, don't you? Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't like giving score predictions. But I'm gonna say
what do you think?
we're gonna win 2-0. I'm feeling
2-0
confident.
Villa.
Yeah,
I can see that happening.
I
We're
think we
struggling to
can
score
get the
goals.
win.
I don't think that would be crazy. Of course, as Palace fans, will be disappointed if we was to lose 2-0 because this is the game that we're looking to hopefully go get that win.
Yeah.
And I think if Zaha's back, Eze's back, of course, and if we change Edward, I feel like we have more attacking threat. The midfield has seemed like he's improved since Lokonga's joined as well. I think there's interesting battles. I think the midfield is a battle. I think it's going to be interesting to see what Watkins does against our defense. As you said, your weakness is out wide. So potentially Zaha, if he's back, how are you going to deal with him? I think it should be a good game. Saying that, what should be 0-0 or something crazy like that?
I don't think Unai Emery's ever had a 0-0 in the Premier League.
Well, you're facing Palace,
so he's due one.
So you never know. We love a draw. Let's just say that we love a draw. But look, thank you for coming on, Billy. Really appreciate your time.
Mate. Thank you for having
before
me.
you go, how can they find you?
You can find me at AVBilly on Twitter and at Total Screamers as well. If you wouldn't mind, give me a follow, like, subscribe, all the jazz.
Yeah,
Just
go make sure to check out. Go make sure to check out Billy's Twitter and also the podcast as well. That's it from me and Billy. Let us know your thoughts ahead of the game in the comment section down below. And until next time, up the Palace.